what we're looking at there.
At 8:07 and 28 seconds p.m., there was a text received from Jen.
And the next couple of entries.
And the entry just beneath it was the display on off where her phone had received the message and the phone screen lights up to show the display went on. The one after that was approximately 21 seconds later. It was a second text received from Jen. And then there are two activations of the display screen going on for receiving those messages.
I'm sorry, I have to mention this. Jen is a friend of Emily's from childhood. Within the text messages on Emily's phone between Jen and this fucking guy. Emily was when I got Emily's phone from the police when I got acquitted and I got her phone. I went through her messages. I went through her text messages. She was talking about having trouble dealing with her abuse as a child with Jennifer. Jennifer knew and knows that Emily was suicidal. I have the text messages. I posted them on my Facebook, the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The police had to have known that there was an issue with suicide just from Emily's text messages with this Jennifer. I mean,
and they didn't. Yeah.
No, of course not. It doesn't.
Yeah.
For the things they're doing right now is filler. They're not going to say anything big deal. So she made this, she did that. They don't even go into it. They don't even know why. They're that dumb. They don't know. They just know that they have to say stuff to fill up time. But the Jen that night apparently is trying to get a hold of Emily twice right away, trying to text her, whatever. And there's no answer. But there was an issue, and Jennifer knew and knows to this day. She didn't testify at trial, and she's one of Emily's very close friends that she was communicating with all the time. But she wasn't the one that would go up there and testify like the other ones would. That would.
Yeah.
Jen wasn't. Maybe Jen wasn't willing to say no. Emily was fine. She had a great life. There was no problem. She probably just wasn't willing to do that. But this Jennifer girl knew that Emily had issues with suicide, and if you want to read them. I put some on my Facebook. Also, I'll give you the transcripts if anybody's interested. Any of her friends, any of her family, anybody that's interested in this case. I have her text messaging right up to the day she disappeared. And if you read them and you think that we had a problem, we don't. But she had issues going on with her mental health with her friends. So.
Go, Mike.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Mike, you go.
I know you said a lot of people still don't talk to you and stuff after this. How's Jen been? Have you communicated with her after? Does she believe you?
Never once. Never once talked to me. Never once said anything. I was very surprised that she didn't. I told my lawyers about her, and I'm like, you have to talk to this Jennifer. She might come clean and let you know that she had problems. It wasn't when I was in jail awaiting trial. My strategy with my lawyers wasn't discussed with me. So it wasn't but I knew that a part of my defense was that they were going to try to show that Emily had problems, was suicidal. But it didn't really get discussed heavily with me.
It wasn't allowed.
While I was in jail trying to discuss my trial, I would go to my lawyer visits and I would talk. I really had no clue right up till the end. I remember looking at Diane and going, do you know that Emily was suicidal? And this is 10 months after I've been, and she just looked at me. She's like, yeah, Matt, I know. She's like, that's what we're working on. That's what we're working on right now. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to know? You guys don't tell me anything. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
So that part of trying to show that Emily had problems would have been to show Jennifer's text messaging. It wasn't used. But as the details of my case, that's the things you won't get from trial. You're going to get from talking to me and being on your guys' podcast. But that's one. Jennifer who's a friend. I won't say her last name, but she knew that Emily was suicidal.
The question I was going to ask you then, what is to do with Jen? Did Diane actually speak to Jen then?
I would say, I have no idea. I can't say yes,
You don't know,
yay or
yeah.
nay, but
Fine.
I don't know. I have no idea. Because Diane wouldn't discuss. She has what she calls a process, which thank you for your process, but the process didn't have anything to do with letting me in on anything, like anything. So
yeah. Well, it worked. So I mean, frustrating at the time,
yeah.
I imagine.
It worked. Thank you, but I mean, it was a lot of stress in jail because I didn't have any clue what was going on. I had no clue.
Right.
I don't know how to say this person's name. I presume they're from the Mighty
Ao
World.
Xander.
Eosander. Fine, I didn't want to get it butchered it. So Eosander, good morning. Well, it's good evening here, but good morning to you, kind sir. One of the most interesting things in your book was how little contact you had with your lawyer. But as you explained before, Matt, that was her process. That's the way she does it. I imagine other attorneys will be different, but that's the way she wanted it. So
It wasn't. It would have been different if she came in and said, "Hey, Matt, I have a process. I'm not going to let you in on this and this and this." But she didn't. She absolutely did not tell me anything. So I was just hanging there. I was told by a fellow inmate who had her as a lawyer. Finally, he's just like, we were talking. You're not supposed to talk about your case, but eventually he's like, "Man, listen, that broad's got your fucking back, man. You just got to sit back." And I was like, "Okay, you sure? She's not ripping me off?" He's like, "No, man, she got you." So after that, I was kind of like, "All right, just got to." If you're in that position, you just have to trust your lawyer. You're hopeless in jail. There's nothing you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you got the dough, if you got the money, Diane Menashe, 1-800 Diane Menashe, whatever it is. Say goodbye to all your money, but you know.
Hey, but it's worth it. Let's be honest, it's worth it. We got your freedom. So I think anybody would give every single cent they have to Diane if they knew that she's going to represent them and you got your freedom.
Going to trial and having a lawyer who is incompetent. How I would now you know why you see those guys in trial that knock their lawyers out. You never see that. They're like standing next to their lawyer, like they're at their arraignment or at their sentencing, and they take a swipe at their attorney, probably because their attorneys are awful. You know, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Let's crack on a little bit here then.
Tech, I'm going to approach and hand you what's marked as States in one.